met a colonel or an officer. He didn't say for whom he worked. And he simply started trying me to defect. And he said to me, well, you can have these 2 girls for you. Good story. I'm not interested in having them for that price, and I'm going to stay here. That went on and on all night long, till 4 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I said hello, goodbye, and never saw them again during my stay in Mexico. Never again in my stay in Mexico. For the month I stayed there, I never saw them again. But at that time, it was evident that they had some interest and things were working on. And then after Mexico, I went to England. There they were much more discreet. They were sort of analyzing, studying, but nothing at the end happened there. Came back here, and it was the opportunity that there was a need of a gastroenterologist in Maputo, in Eastern Africa. At that time it was a very hot place, because it was the independence of Zimbabwe, Rhodesia. The Lancaster House talks between England, Portugal, the United States about the independence of Zimbabwe, and there were troops coming from one side to the border to the other one, and the other troops were going from this side to the other one, so coming and going. There was a fighting there. There was sabotage. There was a task force of the Rhodesians that crossed the border and with mortars shelled just the week that I arrived. The oil refinery was a big fire going there. The planes of the Rhodesians went in the Zambezi River. There's a big bridge, and to do that they need to be very good pilots, because the Mirage, that was the French airplanes of the Rhodesians, went between the river and the bridge, going there, so that the radars could not detect them. And it was a place what was interesting for the Germans, for the Cubans, for the Russians, for the Americans, for the English, for many people. And that was the place where I went.
And you were working for the Cuban government there, or not?
I was working as the head of the Cuban medical delegation in that country.
I should tell you, Clinton was born in Zimbabwe.
Which?
Clinton Reed. Clinton.
Well, no, you said Clinton. I thought that maybe
no.
The State Department,
No.
the head of the State Department.
No.
Was born in Zimbabwe. You were born in Zimbabwe?
Born in Zimbabwe, yes.
Harare?
Bulawayo. Yeah, this is Salisbury.
Salisbury.
Yeah. My dad was in the Rhodesian Army.
Well, then, being there, we had the information that a member of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations working there was really a CIA agent that had a recruiting office in his house. The problem was how to get to that house to be acquainted to that man. That man was from Nairobi, Kenya, and he was married to a lady from El Salvador, Latin America. And then by a third person, I went there because the son of them had some trouble, and then we created a sort of situation that I could easily go to that house without any suspicion. And once that I arrived there, that man immediately, well, showed interest in coming to visit him. There in that house I met different people. People from Syria, people from Egypt, Latin American people, diplomats, member of the United Nations, and there was a Pakistani diplomat that used to visit that house. After a period of 2 or 3 months visiting that house, every day there was an attempt of a coup d'etat in that city. And he said to me that when Zamora Machel, the president of Maputo, went out of Maputo to the center of the country is narrow in the middle. They were going to cut the country in two and to give a military coup in the capital. But he didn't say with which troops. And he offered me protection in the case that happened. I was asked to investigate with which troops, but it was very dangerous, very clear to say, well, what troops are you working with? So we decided to stay only with that part of the information and not the full information. It was evident that really he had a recruiting office in his house. And there is a law in the intelligence services that once that one spy goes near another spy, they should stay together as long as possible for each one to know what the other one is doing. And so we broke that scheme. We decided to tell them that a Cuban officer who was already known by them, so that we were not telling any secret at all, called me and told me that if I continued going to Newton's, that was his name, to Newton's house, they were going to send me back to Havana to go to jail. So I could not go anymore to his house. That broke his schemes. That broke his idea of the problem. And that he also told me that they were going to throw Newton out of the country. That was very bad for him, because he was thrown out because of espionage from one country. His job in the United Nations will be cut off. And so when I went there and told Newton